working. Our YouTube has been funny today. Our daughter wrote to us on private message to say that she couldn't get onto our live. It said unavailable. And I did have people watching here a little bit ago. So thank you for all the highs that were said. Thank you for, someone commented we had a beautiful family. Thank you for that. I did see that comment. But what happened, I was saying that we dealt with Lyme disease today. We found out that Elisha is dealing with Lyme disease, and we're on a 2-week dose of doxycycline because that's what's back. Hey, Monty's back. Okay, Daddy's Princess is back. Yay, everyone's coming back. Very good. Okay, did you guys hear anything I said about the Lyme disease in the first video? Let me know that because I don't want to just repeat myself or go into as much detail. But hi, Susan. Hi, Amy. Okay. She didn't hear. Okay. So I don't know what happened with that first video. YouTube is being strange for us today. And so I'm not sure what's happened. So we went to the doctor today. So what happened was a week and a half ago. So Friday of a week and a half ago, this guy got a red mark under his eye. It didn't even look like a bug bite. It looked like, you know, if you like sleep, you can't have the phone. You know, if you sleep like on your hand and you get a red mark, he had a tiny red mark under his eye. There was no sign of a bug bite, no sign of anything. That spread, and it would be like a bigger circle-ish the next day, but like part of the circle was towards his eye. So it was like a ring. But again, no fevers, no sickness, no pain, no nothing. I was looking to see if the spot was hot, and the doctor said I did everything that I should do to, you know, make sure that I was taking care of him at that point. But then a little over a week after that happened, yesterday morning, Sunday, I went to change his diaper, and he had, you stand up for a second? He had a big circle on his belly. He has a circle on his arm. He has a circle on his leg. He has circles all over. And I did not know that, circles, you have rash. I did not know that you could get multiple bullseye rashes. I didn't know what we were dealing with when we went in today. But the doctor said because of everything I said, I did everything exactly as I should have. Can you throw that away, please? Thank you. He found a dead moth. Yeah, put it in the trash. Don't
put it in the trash can, Bubby.
You know, 2-year-olds, you kind of wonder. Yeah, throw it away and come wash your hands. So then we did what we needed to do, and he's on a 2-week dose of doxycycline. So do you guys deal with ticks where you are? Because I know it's a very New England thing. Yeah, see, you didn't know either. I told everybody from the time I left the doctor's office, we had to go to the pharmacy at the hospital to go get medicine because that's where our pharmacy is. And I was like running into people I knew, and I would tell them, and they're like, I didn't know you could have multiple spots. So there you go. You want to wash your hands? Can you help him wash his hands? So I'm kind of stuck behind the camera. So yeah, I didn't know that either. And I was saying that we don't have a bunch of ticks on our property this year. Some years ticks are worse than others, and ticks are still really bad in our area, but for some reason we've had a lot of turkeys in our yard this year, and I think that's helping. But we've only pulled maybe 10 ticks off of people the whole year, and only 2 of those had bitten. And for both of those, we immediately called the doctor's office, and the course right now is to take a 1-time dose of doxycycline if you get bit, but the tick has been in for less than 24 hours, I think it is. And so the other ticks that we've found has been someone saw a tick crawling across the floor, or someone saw a tick on someone's clothes. We never saw a tick on Elisha, so we don't know where it came from. The 2 ticks we did pull off, we were about 2 hours away from here playing in woods, and Mark and Malachi both got a tick. But like I said, we really haven't had much around here. So I'm going to go back. Okay, lots of ticks in Upper Michigan. We all had Lymes last year. Ugh, yuck. We've had different kids with Lyme. Josiah had Lyme a couple years ago. He got a really, really swollen knee, like super swollen. But he was playing and kind of fell and then complained about his knee hurting. So we thought that it was from a fall. We didn't realize that it was Lyme disease. Virginia got bit by a tick right before her wedding and got put on doxycycline down there shortly before her wedding because she got a rash. Yeah, I think that's who's dealt with Lyme, but it happens up here. Sweet Pea, we are doing good. It's been busy around here. I did an update video earlier today that we just had lots of busyness because of the 4th of July, getting stuff ready for that. Hot days in Maine. We are not used to heat, so our heat index was near 100, and we just don't have much for that. I'll show you. This is our bedroom that we're sitting in. So we have the bed we're sitting on. That's the bed Mark and I sleep on. And that's our air conditioning unit that you can see over there.
Clear.
We don't have anything for the rest of the house. So we were able to close off this room. And we tried the day before to close off 2 rooms, like the living room and the bedroom, and it did not keep it cool enough to make it worth that. But it kept this room really cool the next day when we did just this room and the bathroom. So we came in here, we watched shows, we took naps, all of that stuff, plus played in the pool. But yeah, it was hot. Okay, Maudie, where are we're covered with ticks? Oh, you're covered with ticks here. I was worried that Emily may have something like that. I am glad to hear that Emily's doing better, and I hope that you're able to get through the EpiPens. They're really expensive, so I hope insurance pays for those because we have to do EpiPens too. Hi. Ticks are bad here in our province, so you're up in Canada. And in Oklahoma, you had ticks. I know chickens can eat ticks. That would be great, but we are not allowed to have chickens here on our property. We live on this piece of property because we get to move. We get to live here with my mom. My mom lives in a small house in the backyard, but we've had a lot of wild turkeys, and at first we were running them off because they were eating our grass seed, but then we found out they were eating the ticks, so we've let them eat the grass seed. It's okay if the grass doesn't come up. We're just going to get rid of the ticks.
Who needs grass? I hate ticks.
But the ticks have really not been bad here on our property this year. Some years we were pulling off, a tick a day from somebody, but this year it really hasn't been bad. No. Oh yeah, Alabama ticks. It's weird because they used to be just in like New England. Lyme disease. Yeah, Lyme ticks. But Lyme ticks are named after Lyme, Connecticut, which is where they first named it. So it's up here. How am I feeling? I am feeling slightly nauseous, which is better than some pregnancies. I do
that to people.
My first few pregnancies, with my girls, I would throw up multiple times a day, but then I would feel good in between. So I would throw up, we have 2 hours to go do stuff, and then throw up again. And that happened all day long. I don't know if I technically was the hyperemesis gravida or whatever, because the amount of times that I was throwing up a day or whatever. I never had to get hospitalized or anything, but I definitely had to be careful with that I was getting enough hydration and everything. And then with the boys, for those first few boys, I wanted to throw up all day because I felt miserable all day long, carry a bucket around all day long, but only throw up a handful of times during the pregnancy. But then Uriah on down. So Uriah, Malachi, Gideon, Elisha. I have thrown up a handful of times each pregnancy and not really felt all that sick. So right now I feel bleh most of the day. Should I eat? Would that make me feel better? Do I not want to eat? But not enough that I feel I'm going to throw up. Not that. How's your garden? What's growing good? Our garden was very weedy this morning. The whole family
did a little video,
got out there. Yeah, there was a short we did earlier showing them weeding the garden. It looks a lot better now. The heat, we'll see how the plants do from the heat because that was just a couple days ago. But we have tomatoes on the vine, which is very exciting. Not red yet, but tomatoes on the vine. And the stuff that Uriah planted in the raised beds is doing amazing. The stuff in the garden is doing good too, but the stuff in the raised beds looks a lot better.
Onions, cucumbers.
Peas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something else.
And he's got some flowers.
Yeah.
The strawberries didn't do anything.
Right. So it's doing good, but we have not picked anything from the garden yet. We did not grow any lettuces this year. And I'm kind of hoping that the garden does not start producing until we get back from family camp next week because the first of the food, my mom would eat it. So it's okay.
We should offer the offering of the first fruits to your mama.
Yeah. So we actually knew a family that was Messianic Jews, and they gave us a pint of tomatoes off their plant. It was the first tomatoes that came off, and they offered them to us. We got their tomatoes. It was very fun. We still have contact with them. They still live in Maine, and we see each other randomly throughout the year and catch up once in a while. She's got a YouTube channel too. Suds and Fluff. I think that might be what it is. They make soap and things like that. Okay, I'm trying to get over to the... Yeah, see, I would not do well in July. Our bodies are not accustomed to that. I think if we lived down there, it'd be different. But here, places don't really have much for air conditioning. So, like, you can go to the library. They would have air conditioning, like some stores. But most businesses don't have really good air conditioning. We went to an appointment the day before the heat wave started. And they're like, oh, sorry, the air conditioning's not working well. And I can't imagine what it would be like the next day in there because it was warm. If someone's asking how they can pray for us, you can just pray for us as we are getting ready to head to camp next week, a family camp that we've never been to, and just all the logistics of making that work, because this will be the first time leaving my mom and his mom home. So making sure that I do the part. So my mom still works full time and like has a driver's license, can go to Walmart and stuff, but Mark's mom doesn't drive. So I want to make sure I get all the stuff that I need set up for Mark's mom, make sure she has her prescriptions and everything before we leave, so my mom doesn't have to do that. And then my mom's just gonna be here because we all live on the same property anyway. But I just want to make sure Mark's mom doesn't, because when I'm here, I could just run to Walmart for her if she needed it, but I won't be here. And I want to make sure all that's done. So anything else, specific prayer request someone asked?
Well, first of all, thank you for asking how you can pray for us. That's always appreciated. It's just a good thing to encourage people to do. Yeah, camp is going to be some challenge. Just new places are challenging for us anyway. We have a lot of different obstacles and mobility issues and that kind of thing. But we're also looking forward to it, and we know God is sovereign over these things. And so just praying that we'll have a really good week. That we'll be as healthy as we can possibly be so we can enjoy it to the maximum.
And also, with Elisha being on the doxycycline, he has to stay out of the sun. Yeah. That's one of the things. So trying to figure out at camp how to keep him covered in the sun. So Naomi and I were going through some things. We have a couple swim shirts that are long sleeve.
That are like UV protective.
That are, like UV protective that we could put on him. So, and then I have a hat. So just trying to make sure I get those things together. I'm sorry, Lisa, that your girl had a tick. Ticks are not fun.
Terrible.
Lisa asked.
I had one a few weeks ago, but I think we already shared that.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Lisa asked how my pregnancy is going. It's going. It's early pregnancy, so it's one of those things. I haven't had an appointment yet. I'm feeling sick and tired. That's how pregnancy is going. I really enjoy when you get further along in pregnancy and you can start feeling the baby kicks and all of that stuff, because like I was saying to Mark, it's hard after you've had a loss. Because like the kids will be like, oh, how's the baby?
I have no idea.
I have as much knowledge as you have, because there's nothing, once I feel them moving and stuff, I'm like, oh, baby's good. You want to feel baby? And right now it's just one of those, you just wait on the Lord, you pray, and that's how it is. But I don't have anything that's concerning right now. So we just, every day we just thank God for this baby, and you never know.
Yeah.
So,
but we never know with any of them.
Right.
You don't know if your 2-year-old, like God doesn't promise us every day, and things happen every day. Just being thankful for what we have and enjoying every moment that we have.
Yeah, I think you're more aware of it after a loss.
Well, I was thinking we have friends that recently lost a baby.
Yes.
And just seeing them go through that and being reminded of what we have gone through before, and it's just be thankful for every moment.
Every moment.
Day. Yeah.
Every moment. So you're from outside Boston. I hear we have ticks here, but have not so far had a problem. When we lived in Maryland, we had a tick on one of our cats. It was puffed up, looked like sunflower seed. Yeah, if they've been in for a while, they get engorged because they've sucked the blood.
Yep.
But if you don't have a lot of woods around your area, or a lot of wildlife, because they do travel like on deer and on different animals. So if you live in more of like a suburban neighborhood where you don't have a lot of animals traveling through, and the grass is always kept short, they like longer grass. Yep. So, and woods. How is Naomi in Virginia? Naomi is good. She's had some hard days because of her pots because we had busy days because of 4th of July and everything. So you can pray for her as we go off to camp.
Definitely.
Virginia is doing well. Her garden is producing. They had
90 pounds of potatoes.
Yeah, 90 pounds of potatoes. So yeah. Someone asked, can I ask an honest question? Oh, we'll get to that in a second.
No, we never answer honest questions.
Chloe, this is baby. So we've had some losses before. So it depends how you count the babies. So let me tell you what our children are, who our children are. So we have Nathaniel is our oldest. He is 30 and he is Mark's son from a previous marriage, my stepson. But he lived with us from the time he was 6, full time. He had lived with Mark on and off before that, but with us since we got married. He moved in with Mark 2 days before our wedding. So full time since then. Then we have Virginia, who's our first biological, and she's 23.
She is.
Just turned 23. She lives in Tennessee with her husband and 2 babies. Nathaniel, I don't talk much about what's going on with him, but he lives about 2 hours from here, and he has twins that are 6.
He's just more private, doesn't really.
Yeah, so I don't.
He doesn't want his life broadcast on YouTube, so we try not to broadcast it.
So public information is he lives about 2 hours away. He has twins that are 6 years old. So Virginia actually is hopefully coming to Maine sometime. And so we have videos with her that we did back in April. She came up when Elisha was born. So all kinds of stuff. So Virginia is 23.
We've done videos. They did videos, actually, like a 3-part video series about their courtship while, like, right around the time they got married, I think it was.
So
they're an interesting couple.
then we had a miscarriage. Then we had Naomi. So that's how we decided to just leave it up to the Lord. We actually got pregnant with Virginia when I was on birth control. And then we waited 3 years and decided we were going to have another baby. And so we immediately got pregnant and then had a miscarriage. So we said, no, God, don't give us a baby. And he did. And then we said, yes, God, we're ready for a baby. And he chose to take that one home to heaven. And we kind of left it up to God at that point, that you seem like you're in charge of this. And so it's hard to have a pregnancy after loss, because I had a totally healthy pregnancy the first time and didn't know people had miscarriages. It's something that's so hush-hush that it's hard to, you don't really know where to turn if you have a miscarriage. After I had a miscarriage, a bunch of people came out of the woodwork saying they had had one too, but I didn't know where to go to start that. So anyway, after Virginia, we had a miscarriage. Then we had Naomi. Then we had Joshua, who was stillborn. I had group B strep that was undiagnosed. There's a whole story behind that, but I now have my babies at the hospital so I can get antibiotics, even though I like the idea of a home birth. Then we have Samuel, who's 16. Then we have Josiah, who's 13, almost 14, next week. He's walking by while I say that. Then we had another miscarriage. Then we had Abigail. Then we had Uriah. Then we had Malachi. Then we had Gideon. I'm trying to remember in order. Then we had a miscarriage. Then we had Elisha. Then we had another miscarriage back in February. So this is our pregnancy since then. This will be living baby 11 if you count my stepson as my son, which I do. So it's an odd. We have 8 children in the house right now that I am physically raising. 2 kids who have already moved out, plus the baby in womb. So that's a long explanation for number 11. Why do we cover our hair? Not being mean, I was just wondering.
That's okay. I just dropped a link to a video that explains exactly that. It's like a 30-minute video, so we couldn't go into it.
Basically, 1 Corinthians 11 talks about a woman covering her hair when she prays and prophesies. In my view, we should always be in attitude of prayer. We should always be ready to give an answer for the hope that lies within us. So I put my head cover on when I get up in the morning and I take it off in the evening. Now, if I'm in the garden and my head cover falls off, I'm not going to stop what I do to get it back on right away. When I'm in the middle of labor, I don't necessarily put my head cover back on right away, but I am very intentional that I do cover my head when I'm praying. So like in labor, it would go back on because I do a lot of praying in labor. But it's not like if my head cover falls off and I'm in the middle of talking to somebody, I don't stop the conversation. I just fix it while I'm standing there. It's not a, oh no, somebody saw my hair. It's not that. But yeah, we watch that.
Right.
Like,
And
that's what we
I would say that's even our mandated view is not necessarily they have to wear it all the time. That like this is
Right.
our practice in our home. People understand that passage to apply in different circumstances, like church services and things like that.
Some women
yeah.
wear it in church services. Some women put it
People
on
have a
when
lot
they're
of
going to
different
do
views on
family worship. I find it easier to just have it on so I don't have to go looking for it because I'm always losing things. Like I set my phone down and probably 5 times a day I send people on a search for my phone because I can't find it. So I just don't want to have to search for things during the day. Okay. Yeah. Living in Florida, it's really hard to live without AC. We actually did
Sunny
not.
South Florida specifically.
We did not have AC in our van when we lived on Key West, but Key West is a little more even keel temperature wise than like Miami area because we stayed in a friend's house in Miramar.
Yep. For about 3 weeks.
Yeah, we were in Miami a little bit.
Fort Lauderdale.
We were in Tampa a lot.
Tampa
so
a lot.
Hot.
Key West
hot.
for about 7 months. Yeah.
Yeah, we were in Key West the longest.
Right.
But the temperature there's the best.
Yeah, it's not as hot as it is up on the coast.
Okay, so Daddy's Princess said, I'm diabetic and the heat wreaks havoc on my sugars. What do you do to help keep your sugar level stable? Because I have 2 kids in particular that they can tend to low blood sugar. Not all the time, but they feel shaky. They are really, really tired. So what do you do to help with that? Because I'd really like to know. Lisa, I do not want to come visit you. Sorry. 110 in West Texas is too hot.
Yeah.
Okay, drink lots of water. That's a good idea.
And our recent Switchel recipe and what's the other recipe we recently did?
Switchel and the electrolyte drink.
The electrolyte drink. We have a couple of videos on that if you're looking to beat the heat with something.
Yeah.
Maybe not for diabetics.
We have black raspberries in our backyard and we were away on vacation and I think they are done. Aw. We actually have blackberries. A lot of blackberries coming, but they won't be ready till probably the very start of August. Like end of July, start of August is when they usually come out.
That's good.
Still, 300. Yeah, see, we don't have highs here, so I don't know how to, I kind of know how to solve a low. I have a friend whose daughter has diabetes, type 1 diabetes. She gave me some suggestions for when we go to camp, but I always like to know other people's ideas. You do a baby registry? Maybe
at some point down the road.
Maybe
We got a lot of stuff
after summer. Yes, so we will be praying for you, Daddy Princess. We have a message held for review. Is Virginia going to post soon? I don't know. Virginia is...
Yeah, I don't know why they're hiding that. What a weird thing.
Virginia is very busy in life.
Gardening.
And
a lot of
an almost 2-year-old. So we call it the trainable twos. That was from a friend down in Virginia's neck of the woods. They can be difficult. We were having a difficult day at church on Sunday. So yeah, she's dealing with a 2-year-old. Not that he's bad, just he's 2. Yeah. And she's dealing with a 5-month-old who's just learning to get around. And that keeps you very busy.
We got a video today of him crawling around the playground.
Plus, they recently got a puppy. Yes. So there was training going on with the puppy.
And chickens.
And chickens.
They got chickens, then the puppy.
So they've just had a lot going on in life. It's good. It's all good stuff. But
she just doesn't probably think to grab the YouTube. She's just not videotaping.
Lisa, that's really hard to have lost 5. It's God definitely teaches you things through the loss of babies. I mean, through the loss of any child, but through the loss of babies is a unique challenge, I think, because part of it is there's a different grieving that goes on with our miscarriages and our stillborn. Our experiences were so different because I was going through the physicalness of it in a way that he couldn't understand. Not that he didn't want to, but
I don't have cramps. I don't have bleeding. I don't have there's so much connection between mother and baby that I can think about it. I can try to understand it, but you cannot experience it. It is different. Moms have a different view of these things.
And I know he grieves hard too. So I'm not saying that he's an absent dad or anything like that. It's just very different. It's like if you're super close with a parent who passes away, the spouse that's not super close, you know, let's say you recently got married and so they don't have a really good relationship with them. That would be a lot of difference in grieving. Whereas if you've been friends with a certain person for 20 years and you're both friends with them, your grieving looks a lot closer to each other. And I think with losing a baby, it's hard because mom has the whole aspect that dad doesn't have. And dad's trying to help and mom doesn't know how to tell dad to help.
I have written about it before, but I believe it's been, I don't know if I've ever done a video about Joshua and what happened, his birth and death. But I physically held him and did CPR on him and was in the ambulance with him and went to the hospital with him and all of that. So like I have very specific memories of him holding him, you know, trying to save him, these kind of things that I can't try to say that, no, like, you know, it's like the dad in me, you know, got to go be the rescue hero, and the ambulance driver, the guys in the ambulance were great.
But I didn't get
Let me do what I needed to do.
I didn't really get to hold him because they took him off in the ambulance right away. And so I didn't get to see him till after he had been pronounced dead.
So that was a very weird connection for you.
Right.
But, like, I think that hits me differently, not worse.
Right.
There are children, all of them.
Right.
But
different experiences.
if you have, because there's a traumatic experience for me that I actually was involved in.
Right.
You know, physically and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And being separated from you.
Yeah, because he went in an ambulance and then I had to wait for another ambulance to come get me. It was a crazy thing. There's more videos we have on that. But it's hard when the grieving looks so different. Like in his situation, he was a rescuer in that situation of trying to save a life. And I was sitting in a camper not knowing what was going on at all. Yeah. And so they're just very different. And so there were things we could grieve together and there were things that we just had to lean on God really hard.
And we were 3,000 miles from home, so we had nobody.
Yeah. But my mom came and stayed with us.
She did. She
flew
in as soon as she possibly could.
And then when it was the day before she had to leave and I was crying, you have to go. And she's like, well, I could stay longer. And I was like, I'm never going to want you to go. So you might as well go now because it's never going to be okay.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yes. Thanking God every day for the baby.
Yes,
and okay, baby registry. Later on, baby registry.
Okay.
Bonus son. Hey, Maudie. I hope you're all...
Can you put chocolate on a baby registry? Is that like... is that okay?
For mommy.
Does dad have anything to do?
So
for the baby.
Maudie, people are talking to you, so make sure you're getting back to them. Just curious, are you planning on doing... Oh, Maudie doing a live soon. I'm like, I'm doing a live right now, but it makes sense.
We need to do one with Maudie, and we need to do one about 2 o'clock in the afternoon for our British viewers.
Yes, we are going to be doing one probably Thursday or Friday. We have to figure it out for our British viewers at 2. So if you watch this later and you see, just know 2 o'clock. I'll be posting about that tomorrow. Nothing concerning is a blessing and a loss is so hard. And after you have a baby, whether like there's different things if it's a miscarriage or full term, but there's so many little traumatic things that come up because like too much, maybe too TMI for the men in the room. But when you go to use the bathroom and you wipe and you're like, is there going to be bleeding? You know, that type of thing. Or after you have a baby and, you know, just the different things that go with having a baby and trying to nurse and the pain and all of that stuff. There's just those little like, is everything gonna be okay? Is everything gonna be okay? It's hard. Yeah, there is a lot of miscarriage and I don't think people know that.
Like 1 in 4, and that's been true for us.
Maudie, let us know when you're going to do a live because we'll be part of it. Drinking lots of water, that's a good idea. You mentioned in a past video about the bird and flower Montessori 3-way cards. I found them and laminated them at the library. My kids are enjoying them. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, I found that website long ago. Like, I think her kids are all graduated now, and she had like a baby when I found her originally. So that was like the start of her homeschooling experience. So yeah, it was very cool. Type 2 diabetic. Okay. We have a couple diabetics in the family. Some are type 2, some are type 1, but not in our immediate family, like in the extended family. Different people. And we've actually, 2 of them were diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, but as adults. And people like, and actually I have an uncle on my side. So 2 on your side and then an uncle on my side that were diagnosed as adults with type 1. And people are like, that's not true. And it's like, no, those two, type 1 and type 2 are different. So, yeah, 2-year-olds are very busy. I have a question about people at the end of life. These patients often talk about seeing and also talk to these loved ones they have already passed. I've seen it hundreds of times. As a hospice nurse practitioner, is there any biblical reference to these happenings? We actually started to have this conversation the other day. We had somebody fall in the other room. It's the 2-year-old, so he's probably just getting overtired. I don't know, because you see in the Bible where, sorry if it's hard to hear in the background.
He's okay. He was trying to come see you, but he jumped over the arm of the couch and tumbled.
He needed to see mommy so bad.
Oh, the poor puppy.
Jumped.
Okay, so did you give an answer to that?
So
About
I
Samuel in the Bible?
started to say that there are times in the Bible, but you can do that while
All right, here, I'll try this.
you talk to them for a second.
All right, I can't see. So the only thing I can think of in the Bible would be when King Saul calls up Samuel, who is dead, to talk to him, but he goes to the witch at Endor, and there's this specific forbidding against necromancer. So I don't think that's really an application to what it is. Now, my experience as a CNA, I had some of my patients pass under my care. Not a lot, 5 or 6 maybe. Not a lot. So I think you probably have a lot more experience than I do. I don't really have any biblical answer for how that would work. I would have to think biologically and just the way human brains work, thinking about how dreams work and memories and that kind of thing, that you could certainly be thinking of someone and could project that into a thought. Like, I don't know. I don't want to dismiss something that could be accurate and true. So I don't really understand it. So I guess I would just say it would be interesting to know more. Yeah. Maybe when we get to heaven, we can ask God about that.
We had a discussion the other day about like death in the Bible and that type of thing.
They can say
and but no, it's fine.
Yeah.
And we were discussing like the people who say they went to heaven and then came back and they're telling visions about it. A lot of their stories have to do with, I saw this loved one, I saw this really beautiful place, whatever.
They seem to miss Jesus a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of missing Jesus. I think that if someone is going to come back, like when Paul was given.
Sorry, I thought you were going to say when we were in Key West. We were in Key West, and a guy came upon with some of our homeless friends, came to the church one day and told us that his name was Miracle Man Dawn something or other, and that he had been in the morgue in Miami for like 4 or 5 days or something like that, dead, and that he came back to life, and God brought him back to basically talk about himself, because he didn't mention God, the Bible, Jesus, repentance, faith, sin, any of the things that you would say. I know what Jesus would say, because we have the whole New Testament that tells us what Jesus said and what he told other people to say and what we're supposed to do. So anyhow, that's my one experience.
Yeah, I was going to say in the Bible when it talks about the vision of heaven.
Yeah.
It was about, like, anytime you see where they're talking about being in the Holy of Holies before God, that type of thing, it's how unworthy they are and how glorious Jesus is. Yeah. So if somebody has a story like that, I'm much more likely to believe it than I went to heaven, I wrote a book, give me some money. Not that people couldn't make money. I'm just saying, like, the idea of what is the story focusing on, because I don't think Jesus gets all the glory and everything. And so
I think the danger that could come is people who are not Christians might fancifully see their Christian grandma welcoming them into heaven, because grandma always talked about heaven, but these people are not genuinely born again, so they're not going to heaven. And we talked about this at church yesterday. It's the
we're
opposite.
getting controversial here. Sorry,
we're gonna get really controversial because I'm on the video, so that's what happens. And our Pastor Phil was just saying that there are two kinds of people. There are people who are in Christ, and we are redeemed from our sin, and we are bought by the blood of the Lamb, and we serve King Jesus because that's, we're his. And we love him, and we want to follow him, and that's all of that. And the opposite is people who are enemies of God, and that's how it's portrayed in the Bible. It's not popular. I'm sure some people will click off now.
Yeah.
But
And
anyway.
I'm going to say
But
something.
just in the issue of, do you see a loved one before you're dying and they're welcoming you in? If you are not in Christ, if you are not saved from your sin, if you're not in repentance and faith, trusted in Jesus Christ as your Savior and Lord, then you're not going to heaven to be with that loved one in that happy place. So no.
Yeah.
I would just say in that circumstance, that's how I could say my theological answer is there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
I'll shut up now.
hold on. I'll be controversial for a second too, because it's something I said before that I want to go back and say differently. I was saying about my babies who had passed, and I said something about going to heaven. I do not feel like the Bible gives us clear knowledge that every baby that dies goes to heaven. I do believe that God can take any baby he wants to heaven, because it's God doing the work in somebody's heart, and the baby does not have to.
And he could choose every baby.
He could choose every baby.
He's sovereign. He can do that.
I just don't. I see a lot of people who, especially when we're doing like abortion ministry and stuff, people will tell the abortive mom, your baby's going to heaven.
If you kill your child, then they will go to heaven, so they'll be better off, which is not what they're intending to say, but that's the message.
I think God could totally take every baby to heaven. So don't hear me saying your baby's not going to heaven. I'm just saying that I don't think we can clearly state from the Bible that's what happens. It does say David says, I'm going to be with him again. Whatever he says about when his son dies.
He will not, I will not. Yeah, he will not come to me, but I will go to him.
But that could just be
talking
in
about
death.
the grave. That's really all it means.
I don't say that to negate anyone's thought process, and I know lots of different people think differently on that, but I've said different on videos, and so when I realized how I stated it before, it's not, I don't know, it's one of those things that sometimes you just say things, something comes out and you're like, that's not exactly what I was intending to say. So.
When Joshua died and I wrote his obituary, it included in there that we know we will see him in heaven. I pray that, and God is good and righteous and gracious, but all of us are conceived in sin. We live in sin, and yet God is sovereign, and he's gracious, and he's merciful, and he saves. No one that gets saved deserves it, obviously. Then you wouldn't need to be saved.
Right.
So we're trusting God and just believing God that whatever he does is right, but we don't see a specific text that says this is absolutely necessarily true.
Right.
Theologians have been arguing that one for years.
Okay, so we will go back to this, and maybe people have left. We lost our daddy 3 years ago. My parents were married for 58 years, and we were trying to help our mom, and she's still struggling. That's really hard. My dad passed away 12 years ago, and I had a discussion with my mom today because she is trying to figure out like retirement and making sure her money is going to last, long enough, and what to do with her assets. She has no debt. So just whatever's left, what is going to happen to her assets, because there's me and 3 siblings. And so we had to have that discussion this week, and I did not want to have that discussion. And then it was really hard.
Because her dad died 12 years ago, June 27th, which is last week.
Right.
And was a huge part. His funeral was on July 3rd. And the only funeral I've ever preached. And then the next day was the 4th of July, where the family's always been actively involved for all these years, and then he wasn't there that year.
So this week is hard for us. And then my mom brought this up. And so then we're talking, and I said something about, well, if you die, blah, blah. And she's like, no, when I die, it's going to happen. And I was like, I don't want to. She's still in great health.
When you die.
But it was like,
her mother was
Mom,
93.
No. Yeah.
She's got good genes, and she's healthy and all of that. Yeah,
So
we're not looking to get rid of anybody.
Do you want to see if this guy wants a snack, but not a piece of cheese, because he needs to take. So when you're on doxycycline, you're supposed to avoid dairy, which I'm gonna do.
Come here,
I'm gonna do breast milk to help the little fall that we took, but I don't want to give him extra dairy right now. So anyway, okay, I agree with you, Sarah. I lost a set of twins at 12 weeks, delivered 3, and lost a baby girl at 20 weeks, delivered 5 more. It's different for dads and moms. Yeah, and it's not saying that dads don't grieve. It's just a different way. And even like when my dad died, Mark was really close with my dad. And Mark held it together and didn't cry for weeks because he knew he had to be strong for the rest of us, because the rest of us were falling apart. And he helped do all the like funeral arrangements and all of those things. So men handle things differently. And that's why God has made it that men and women are different, and that we can help each other with our strengths, and they can help us with our weaknesses. So yeah, it's definitely hard. Yay, I'm glad you caught my live, Hopkins. Do we have a P.O. box? No. I'll talk to Mark when he comes back in. Hold on. We lost a little boy when I was 13 weeks along. Then my mom passed away 3 months later, and then we conceived Asher the month after my mom passed. We had a lot of early miscarriages and ectopic. It's really hard. I find the hardest thing about losing a baby. I haven't lost, like, we've had miscarriages and a stillborn. We have not lost a brother or sister at a further age than stillborn. I think all of them have their own challenges. I'm not trying to say one is worse or better than the other. I'm saying that in the losses we've had, I find the hardest thing is trying to get through my own grief while I'm also trying to help the kids with their grief. Just dealing with all the emotions. Because sometimes I just want to sit in bed and cry, and sometimes they need me at that moment. So, they found chocolate chip scones. Okay, was he stillborn? Yes, our son Joshua was stillborn, and we did not know that anything was wrong with him. I felt him kick immediately before labor started.
And he was 36 weeks. 37 weeks.
He was 37 weeks, and there was nothing wrong with the pregnancy. What happened was I had group B strep. The hospital did not find my group B strep. They did a non-sterile cervical exam, which introduced the bacteria, and then sent me home because I said my water broke. They said my water did not break. But he was then born 8 days later, and the group B strep, which is not in the sack of waters, had been introduced to him 8 days before, which is when I said my water broke. So there could be a whole medical malpractice lawsuit there, but we chose not to go that route. But it was on the hospital, not on something I did. So, but the whole ambulance and everything, I only had a 3-hour labor, and they had been the hospital staff. You need a diaper change? You're going to have to ask Daddy. Daddy can do that. The labor was only 3 hours, and they had been so rude to us when we went to the hospital the first time when I said my water broke that I just prayed, God, tell me when it's time to go to the hospital. Tell me when it's time to go to the hospital. And I did not feel a clear, yes, you should go to the hospital. And looking back on it and talking to the autopsy person, doctors, not involved, but doctors who knew the information afterwards, had I gone in and he did not have a heartbeat, they probably would have put me in for a C-section, which would have introduced the bacteria into my bloodstream. I got really, really sick from the group B strep, even without it directly contacting my bloodstream like it would through a C-section. So, praise the Lord, I wasn't there. He was born. We knew, like, I rode in the ambulance to the hospital, and I was talking to the paramedic about how I knew God was good even if Joshua had already died, because I just felt at peace. God just gave me a peace about it. So yes, the Lord give, the Lord taketh away. Blessed is the name of the Lord. We sang that song like 2 weeks later at the church we were going to.
Hold on. That's John 1:21.
No, I know, but there's a song that has those words in it.
Oh, okay.
That we sang at. No, that we sang at the church in California. No, we sang it as well in the hospital room that night because we just definitely felt it as well. But He gives and takes away.
Oh, yes.
He gives. We sang like 2 weeks later at church, and I was just bawling. Yes, Mark, chocolate treat for Daddy. Cindy from South Florida says that. Okay, Susan, we will be praying for you. So people who aren't seeing these messages, Susan's father-in-law passed away this morning, so they could use prayers. And we will be praying. Cindy, the time of the previous loss and a new pregnancy was very hard for me. My late husband was helpful, but later shared he was grieving in prayer. Yeah, it's hard because you don't know how. When I'm grieving, I don't know what I need. I don't know how to tell him how to help. And then you can get angry. A person can get angry because someone's not helping them in the way they want help, but they don't know how to share that they want that help. And there can be this whole like unspoken roughness between each other. Yes, Lisa, I do still nurse, and that's what I was just doing here. So we have cut back on nursing. He is only nursing 2 or 3 times a day. He does nurse right before bed, which it's almost that time for him to nurse anyway, but he took a spill in the other room, and so I nursed him. That would not have normally been a time that I would nurse him, but we are cutting back, but not cutting it out totally. He was mad at me at church on Sunday because Sunday has been a time where he's allowed to just nurse the whole time, and I told him this week we weren't nursing, but Saturday was a long day because of the parade, and he was just very upset that I was not doing that. We had to take a time out from church. He brought me this. We took a time out from church so we could deal with that, but we are all better now. Yes, we all need to be careful of false prophets.
So our passage today was actually 2 Peter chapter 2, which is entirely about, like, beware of false prophets and false teacher. But we had like an hour and a half long discussion with that, and we had to cut it off because it was getting late.
Yeah, we had an over 2-hour Bible time today. My mom was then like, can I go buy stuff for subs? Because we hadn't started lunch yet. Okay, my late husband's family told me I didn't love my husband because he doesn't visit me in my dreams. I know better. Yes, I don't think that...
I don't dream, so...
Yeah. I don't think it's wrong if... Like, I have occasionally had a dream where my dad is in the dream. Never, like, telling me, oh, here's how good heaven is or anything like that. My dad's, like, in the dream, like, randomly, you know, fixing the car or something. I have very weird dreams. But I don't think it's wrong if you don't have that person in your dream either. And I don't think they're visiting you. I think you're dreaming... Like, there are talks about dreams and visions in the Bible. I'm not saying those didn't happen, but I think most of the time when we're dreaming, it has to do with events that happen during the day or things we're thinking about, and how our mind keeps working while we're sleeping, not necessarily... Like, I've had some dreams...
Trying to file things where they belong.
I've had some dreams where it would make no sense for that to be a dream sent from God because it's just wacky. Not anything bad, but, like, there's a purple elephant standing in my bedroom. There's no, like... gospel thing there. Okay, my eldest daughter's name is Elisha. Do you say it Elisha? And my eldest son is Joshua. That is very cool. We actually named our son Joshua Daniel. Daniel was my dad's name, so it was this was before my dad passed away. So Joshua Daniel after my dad. And then our next son was Samuel David. But after we had named all of them, we realized that friends of ours had 3 sons, Joshua, Daniel, and Samuel. We had not put that together. Those are people we still know. Daddy died on Valentine's Day. It's always hard when it comes with a holiday too, because then you're trying to do the holiday and all of that. And then Cindy's mother will be 94 on Wednesday. Wow. Good long life. That's awesome. It's always fun to see somebody to live that long. Oh, I know. I also lost Dad on Valentine's Day. Oh, 2 Valentine's Day, 5 years ago, during COVID. COVID was not a pretty time for... We didn't know if we'd ever see my grandma because my grandma was pretty old when COVID started, like 90. And she lived in like an assisted home. And it seemed like the rules were changing week to week on whether you could visit. Could you like take your temperature and then visit outside?
We're not going to touch it.
My grandma couldn't hear very well, so if we had masks on, she wouldn't have been able to tell what we were saying. And we did get to see her because she ended up living for years after, but we didn't want to make a trip to Ohio because we didn't even know if we'd be able to see her by the time we got there because the rules were changing so much.
What you got?
So someone just found out we were live. They love our channel. Oh, passed away from COVID-19. Yeah, that's hard. COVID added to lots of problems for people during that time. You and Mark are such a sweet couple. The kids are so happy and well behaved. Yeah, and then we have a trainable 2 right now. Oh, going into the hospital on Christmas Day. Yeah, that's hard. I don't know. I find your brain thinks about those dates even if you're not thinking about them. Like, it's really hard when it's on a holiday because it's definitely brought up a lot. But I find myself getting very weepy in March when we lost Joshua, and then
March 25th.
Naomi turned 2 2 days
March
later.
27th.
I was trying to figure out the
Yep.
dates here.
Yeah, it was 2 days apart. So
so
he
Naomi-
died and her birthday was 2 days later.
Right. So I delivered a baby and then she turned 2 days later. And I was so sick. And I don't even realize it until usually like the day of. Oh, I've probably been weepy all week because my mind has remembered this date and
Yeah.
I don't like, I'm not specifically
It's not
thinking
always
about the
conscious
date.
memories. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Your brain is doing a lot of stuff that you don't understand.
Right.
Sorry, I was reading the comment.
That's okay.
I can't do two things at once.
No, he can't. Okay, so Maudie said, I have dreams about my mom too, but she's never doing anything other than the normal stuff. I don't
Yeah.
dream about my dad really, but he's been gone for 29 years. Yeah, I think it's different when you're in a different stage in life. But yeah, I don't have dreams about people coming to visit me specifically. It's always just they happen to be there. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I have weird dreams. Like
Her and her mom talk about all
We
their weird
do.
dreams every day.
Oh, I remember one day I was talking to my mom about a dream I had, and the dream was so scary. Like I woke up and I was so scared. And the next day I was trying to tell my mom the dream, and I was like laughing so hard because talking about it, I realized how ridiculous it was that the dream was scary, but I was so scared when I woke up from it.
sounds
But I
about
had
right,
like
yeah.
tears coming down my face because I was laughing so hard that like, why was this so scary? But it was. I had a dream the other night that there was a little man trying to get me, and he was like a little tiny man. And he was like, I don't know why this little tiny man was trying to get me, but
See, I almost never dream, or at least I don't think I do. I don't remember it.
yeah.
But once in a while when I do, it's like hyper scary. Usually something happening to you. Like, I don't know, that's driven by fear or how that works. But
So then he wakes up and attacks
then I
me.
wake up and like just hold on to her for dear life. Yeah.
Someone said, do you guys think God allows signs from loved ones who have passed? I don't think we have enough scriptural evidence to say that that is true.
Right.
But
I don't think I could rule it out.
I do. My grandma used to collect monarch butterflies as like eggs
Yep.
and raise them till they became butterflies and then sent
Tagged
them off.
and sent them off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did all of that. So, and when I see a monarch butterfly, it makes me think of my grandma. But I don't think, oh, my grandma's here visiting me.
No,
I
it's
think,
a memory.
oh, my grandma. She's a wonderful woman. I loved her.
And palm olive dish.
Oh, palm olive dish soap. When I smell that, I'm like, grandma's house.
Yep.
It's funny how those things come up. But yeah, I can't rule it out. I haven't studied that enough to
Yeah, I wouldn't
give
rule
you
it out.
a yes or no.
I would say the only thing that I can reference is when Jesus tells a parable, not probably necessarily a true story, about Lazarus, the poor guy, and the rich man, and him saying, send somebody back to warn them, and he says they have Moses and the prophets. So I would think if there was communication back and forth, they could probably communicate the really important stuff, like whether Jesus or not.
Yeah.
So not likely, but again, that's a pretty weak. I don't have anything solid there.
So,
I like to have at least 3 scripture references for almost everything, I think.
well, someone liked our perspective. So
Okay.
that doesn't mean anything because maybe we're all wrong. We saw a sign, someone we know has like all these signs in their bathroom. So when you're sitting there, you have lots to read. But it says something like, I could agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong. I just thought that was funny. Okay, so mom was born on the 14th. Daddy was born on the 14th. Maternal grandmother passed on the 14th, and daddy passed on the 14th. Wow, that's
Oh, the
crazy.
14th of July?
Or
is
just
this
the
February? When is
14th.
the Valentine's Day? Or?
Yeah, I think it's different
Josiah's
14th.
birthday is the 14th. He's turning 14.
Okay, would you listen?
So like next week.
Can you come up here?
Are you all right?
I think he's trying to go see his sister and do you want daddy to come see what you need?
Let me look.
I think he's trying to see his sister and she may be like, no, you don't need whatever she's asking for. Okay, I think a lot of it really goes back to subconscious thoughts. If I'm stressed, I tend to dream about my mom too. That's interesting. That's interesting that you've figured out that it's when you're stressed. You have dreams about her because I haven't seen any correlation, but I haven't really looked for it. I have heard cardinals or butterflies being a symbol of a loved one who has passed away. I do not think souls of those who have passed visit us. However, the idea gives us comfort. Yeah, I think when you have that shared memory, so like not when I see the butterfly, my grandma's also looking down and seeing the butterfly and, oh, we have that shared memory. But like we have a memory that I know that if my grandma was around and I said something about a monarch butterfly, we'd have a shared memory together. Does that make sense? So when I see the butterfly, it makes me think of all the wonderful things about her. And I have different thoughts of those things. Like there's times that randomly something will remind me of my dad. And sometimes I can't even tell you exactly why it reminds me of my dad. But it's something that I know that it's something we'd sit and laugh and talk about and all of that stuff. So paternal grandmother, sorry, died on mom's birthday. Yeah, that's odd that all those dates line up. It's weird how sometimes dates fall. Mark really likes numbers and he's always interested in those dates. Yes, I agree. Not that they are present, but maybe a sign of remembrance in a way. Yeah. That's another thing I hear a lot. Signs from loved ones who have passed. I'm not sure either. Yeah, I think I want to just take it as it makes me remember this person, but not necessarily that God's telling me to remember that person, because I think about loved ones all the time that I've lost. How far along are you with this pregnancy and will you find out the gender? So I am 7.5, 8 weeks, I'm guessing, from the time that I found out I was pregnant. But I don't really know. I have not had an ultrasound. I have chosen to not have the early dating ultrasound just because I find it sometimes gives me more questions than answers. And for myself, I'm not saying anything to other people because this is just how I'm choosing to do it. I find that if something is seen on the early ultrasound, it's not going to change that I'm going to continue the pregnancy. I know some people would consider an abortion if things were wrong, and I would not. Even if they were like, yes, the baby's going to die in the next 2 weeks, I would say I'm going to carry this baby as long as I can and enjoy every moment that I can with this baby. I would not take my child's life. So I find the early ultrasound actually just causes me stress, because if there's something wrong, it just gives me longer time to stress about it, but I'm not changing the course of my pregnancy. And now I do the 20-week ultrasound because we live in a small, we have a small hospital near us. And if there was something wrong where baby would need like surgery soon, or a lot of you guys who watch my channel also watch Mama Bear to Many. Oh, someone's asking about a P.O. box. They want to know if we have a P.O. box. What do you want me to? We do not have a P.O. box. Do you want me to say something different than that?
You want a message?
If you want to
send us an email.
Send us an email. So our email is cowperthwaitefamily@gmail.com.
It's linked to everything.
It's linked on everything. So just go there and send us a message on email and Mark will talk to you. Okay, so back to the 20-week ultrasound. A lot of you guys watch Mama Bear Too Many, which is a friend of mine. She had a son who has trisomy 18, and he had to be born at a bigger hospital that had a NICU. Like our hospital does not. We have a very basic nursery. And so any baby that is born here that has troubles has to get life flighted down to the bigger hospital. I would like to know if my baby was going to need something, I would want to be able to deliver at that bigger hospital. We actually had the situation with Samuel. So Samuel was our baby. Well, we thought we were going to have the situation. Samuel was our baby after Joshua. So after our stillborn, Samuel was the next baby. We went for the 20-week ultrasound and they told me that his head measurement was too long, like this way. And it could mean like all these things, and that he was going to possibly need immediate surgery. So I called my pediatrician and asked him, and he actually got on the phone with people in Portland, which is our bigger hospital here, and in Boston, which is the biggest hospital near in our area. That's like 4 hours away. Our doctor got on the phone and asked like what would need to be done, blah, blah, blah. But by the time we went back for another ultrasound, Samuel's head was fixed. And I take it that God healed him. We could just say, oh, well, they had wrong ultrasound measurements and he was fine and they just did it wrong. And yes, I know that those things can happen, but I think way too often we pass off medical inaccuracies and things to say that the miracle didn't happen. And I believe a miracle happened. I believed that his head measurements were off and that God chose to fix those. And so I'm going to give God credit for those. But by the time we had our next ultrasound, the problem had cleared and we did not have to have him at a bigger hospital. He was born at our local hospital, was totally healthy until 3 weeks old. He got bronchiolitis and we had to go back in for observation. They never actually sent him to the big hospital. He stayed at our little hospital here. They put him on oxygen for a very short time and they were just watching him. But he was a healthy kid. So, okay, going back to, yes. So, and we have found out the gender every time because we like to name baby immediately. Like we usually go to the ultrasound with a boy name and a girl name and start calling baby that name as soon as we find out. Daddy's Princess, thank you for watching. If you are still watching, thank you for following along. Okay. Maudie, I will say that the morning my mom passed, about 30 minutes before we got the call, a beautiful red cardinal appeared right at our front window and sat there looking at us for about 20 minutes. That's cool to have a memory that now when you see the cardinal, you're going to say, oh, I remember this from the morning my mom died. Again, can't give you Bible on a God thing or not a God thing, but it is nice to have that memory. You see a cardinal and you're like, oh, my mom. Everything has meaning. Every good and perfect gifts from the Father of life. If it be comforting, joyous, reassuring, and such experiences often given through such moments like an Animal Crossing. Yes, I think that we can have those memories, like I was saying. So anyway, we are going to get going because I have a very tired boy and we've been on here for an hour. But thank you guys for joining me. I just realized I hadn't done a live for a little bit. Next week, I don't know how much content I'm going to get out because we're going to be at camp. I don't know how good my internet connection is going to be. So, yeah, we're not going to have a lot of time. So I can't promise that I'll have anything out. That stands out in light. Unseen one perceives a connection there being that it is meaningful to the individual and in right timing, especially in the strange way you feel hard to explain. And Maudie, yes, I always think of my mom when I see them. She loved cardinals. Now I collect little figures of cardinals. That's cool. We have a cardinal sitting on my shelf that my grandma's mom, my great-grandmother, her husband used to carve birds and then she would paint them. And so my kids all got to pick one of those after my grandma passed away. And one of them picked a cardinal. Yeah, thank you guys for being here. Okay, you guys want more lives. Okay, I will try. Things are crazy and it's sometimes like last minute, like this one was today of, are we going to do it? Are we not going to do it? I wanted to make sure that it worked out this week. This week is kind of a week to rest before camp, but tomorrow at some point we have to go do some banking before we go on our trip. And Wednesday, I'm doing my homeschool review. Yay, I'll have it out of the way. And our church is doing a camp. So our church just recently took over a ministry of a camp that someone in our church has been doing for a long time. 38 years or something like that.
A long time.
They are older. They're like, one of them's 90. And so they have now like handed it over to the church just so that all the financial work and everything can be done rather than waiting until they pass and then having to pass everything on. So our church has just recently taken this over. So they're trying to figure out exactly what to do with the thing. There are gospel concerts every Saturday night. And on Wednesday, our church is doing like a family fun day. So we can use the lake and we're going to have food together. We're going to do a Bible study. It's going to be fun. And, so that's Wednesday. Thursday, I'm making my sister a cake because my sister that lives local, it's her birthday this week. And I know that she loves chocolate cake with peanut butter frosting, but she does not cook. So I told her to stop by after work and I'd give her cake. And then Friday is going to be crazy getting ready for camp because on Saturday we'll do ministry and stuff before we head out for camp on Sunday. We will go to church Sunday morning and then leave from church to go to camp. So I have to have everything packed and ready to go. So yeah. So thank you guys for joining. We will see you guys next time on Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God. Bye.